Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Big round. Give a big round. Give a big.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another Parents' Lounge live show Tuesday night. Jason Gowan, Jamie Kaler here. Looking forward to
everybody.
Hello, everybody. We have a whole slew of people, I think, coming in. We have, I believe, I don't want to tip anything, but there's a bunch of.
We have no idea who will show up.
We don't know. We have a bunch of regulars coming by.
Did you see the email I sent out? I blasted it to everybody who's ever been on the show.
Honestly, we talk about this all the time. And for those of you, I mean, I love Narcolepsy's already here. There's a bunch of people. Brandon's already here. By the way, I saw Trolls last night with my kids. Katie's here. Should have Katie jump in, actually.
I'll send her a link.
Sometimes we do this show and we, if we have somebody I don't really know and it turns into interview night, it feels like a job. But like last week when it was just my oldest friends on the planet, we were just talking about parenting and life in general, and everybody was commenting along with the jokes. I mean, to me, it's glorious. It's my favorite. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. This is every week. And we actually have a special Thursday night show with Eric Schwartz, who's one of my favorite comics, Easy E, who's coming in.
He's got a Netflix special coming out next week. So
it's a Netflix special coming out next week. So, I mean, that's kind of the world we live in. So all my buddies are popping out specials and stopping by, and he's super funny. So we have a very special Thursday night show this week that you have to come see. That's it. I
don't know if the Rupp's coming in.
Ruppel's on a flight to Seattle. He's landing. He has shows up there, and he will. I think he's going to chime in.
They're sold out now.
If he lands in time. But honestly, sometimes you and I started this thing, and you were like, "Hey, who we got?" And I said, "You know who doesn't get enough chat time is Mr. Jason Gowan. Who runs the board.
Everyone.
So I deliberately told people to come in a little bit late. Hey, Carl, how are you? Because a lot of times we kind of skim over our parenting duties. And the fact is, you and I talked during the day, and I'm so happy for some of the stuff that's going on with you and your kids, man. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So, for those of you who've been following, the twins, Aunt and Logan, both started ABA therapy at a special school that specializes in ABA therapy.
Wait, what does that stand for people who don't know?
Applied behavioral analytics. I can't remember what the second A is. It's applied.
Is it American Basketball Association? Is it the old ABA?
Yes,
it is.
I want them to be on the Olympic basketball team.
It's very possible. Very, very possible.
Yes, because if they're like their father, they'll come in at a raging 5'5".
5'5", maybe a 4 to 5 inch vertical leap
on a good day.
Listen, not to change the subject very quickly, but I think if the NBA is going to survive into the next millennium, because obviously Wembanyama is like 7'6", it's turned into like a Jack and the Beanstalk, where we just watch giant guys dunk the ball. Here's my premise, and I want to hear what everyone has to say about this. Here's how I fix basketball: 1 quick solution to fixing basketball. I put a second rim on the ground. I put a hole under that basket. And so you can score in the top basket or you can score in the low
In
basket.
the lower one.
2 ways to score. And that way you have tall guys, but you get a couple little short guys running in and jamming it in there. And yeah, are guys going to break ankles in the hole underneath the other basket? Of course they are.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just how the sport is played.
Look, there are risks in every sport. But you don't
Risks
hear
in
the
every-
NFL guys bitching about it.
Well, I think you do hear them bitching about it. Actually, I think you do. I mean, at least the guys who can still speak legibly, those guys are still bitching about it. But the
NFL
guys
not a
with,
sponsor.
but the other dudes, the NFL is not a sponsor of us.
Not
But the
a
dudes
sponsor.
with pudding in their head, their wives have a lot of money, I guess, to take care of stuff. But yeah, those guys are.
Yeah.
Anyway, ABA.
Anyway, it's applied behavioral analysis. It
Makes
is.
sense.
And so it's a very strict regimen. It's 40 hours a week. And, when they started, the twins maybe said, 10 words, 15 words. And I do have some video of.
And let everyone know, how old are they now? Are they 5?
They're 4. They'll be
4.
5 in February. And,
5 in February.
they are,
So a 40-hour week for a 5-year-old, that's pretty intense.
So here's the other thing that's great about it is that they are so freaking tired by the time they get home. They just melt into a couch, and that we don't have any trouble with them at all. Except Darkwood just came out here right before the show started to let me know he had to pee.
It's so funny. Not to go. Apparently, my basketball premise has taken off forever. How about we no longer have players above 6'1"? How about this? All right, Freddie B. How about this for a pitch? You have 5 guys. You're allowed 1 dude over 7 foot. You're allowed 1 guy from 6'9" to 7 feet. You're allowed 1 guy from 6'6" to 6'9". You're allowed 1 guy, and you have to fill like weight classes. You have 5 dudes, and they have to be in a certain category. Because otherwise, none of us are playing. Like, I see guys, and they're like, "Oh, my kid's playing basketball," and my first response is, "Why? What's the?" Dude, Hannah swims at Harvard Westlake, this high school up the street, which is a really expensive private school, but we just use the pool because we're poverty stricken. And she swims there with her team. And I walked by the gym, and this is high school kids. I'm 6'1". There wasn't anybody even close to my height. This is high school. There were at least 3 6'11", 7-footers on the team because they all got scholarships to go to that school. It looked like a professional team, and it was 5 high school kids. I was blown away how good kids are at sports now. It's pretty crazy. Anyway,
if there was a team of me, we would just look like hobbits going to Mordor.
I would love to get that, but I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy.
Oh, well, you don't know what didn't read the books in high school?
I never read the books, and not only that, this is I don't know if I've ever told this. I walked out of Lord of the Rings.
I've never seen the movies.
You never. So I went opening night. I went to see the opening day. It was pretty full, but I 90 minutes into the movie, I was like, man, I can't watch another chase scene over a giant hill of New Zealand with thousands and thousands. And I walked out, and the guy said, I said, listen, man, I can't take another minute of this movie. It's driving me crazy. And the dude goes, you've been in there for 90 minutes. And I go, I know, but it's a 3-hour film. I can't, I'm not going to make it. And he wouldn't give me my money back, but he gave me a coupon that let me get a free movie.
Like later.
So I literally walked out of Lord. People I've told that to who are Lord of the Rings fanatics are like, what? What are you talking? I go, I can't.
Yeah, I always get shit for never seeing Star Wars.
You've never seen Star Wars?
There we go. Here we go.
Oh, I didn't love it. I saw it opening weekend, and because I'm that old, I saw it opening weekend in 77 or whatever, and I was like, I thought it was kind of a B movie. I thought it was kind of a cheesy film. I'm still to this day, I'm amazed that it became like this iconic film that people are just mesmerized by.
When I went to Disneyland with Mulligan to the Star Wars park, I didn't know what anything was. So she's like trying to explain it all to me, and I was just being
of Star Wars. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen them all.
No, I've not watched them. Well, I wasn't really allowed to watch it. I'm not really sure why, because I was allowed to watch other stuff like Ghostbusters, but
These guys, the comments are driving me crazy. Freddie B, and when a guy gets subbed out, the sub has to be the same height class. That makes total sense.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
I can't. Can anyone? Anybody watching? Can you even watch basketball anymore? Guys just pull the trigger from anywhere. It's like there's no team sport anymore. It should just be. They should do a one-on-one league. I would watch that. Wouldn't you watch like Steph Curry against LeBron or Giannis?
Oh yeah, like
against,
just a straight up versus. I would be
straight
okay.
up 1-versus-1. I would watch way more than I would watch. Like the 5-on-5 is utterly ridiculous at this point.
You will be missed, Freddie. You will be.
Freddie's gone. Freddie, listen, I saw Star Wars. Anyway, I keep interrupting to take easy jokes about other stuff, even though
Other stuff. Yeah, it's fine. We don't have a set plan for today. We don't know if anybody's showing up. We have no idea what's happening.
I know Bunan's coming in. He's doing it. So Mike Bunan's coming by. Carlos Alas Rocky, I think, is going to pop in. Betsy Stover is going to pop in.
Possibly, yes. Oh, Katie.
All right. I guess we'll have a mom and we'll have a mom.
Yeah.
You want to do the intros? Not even an intro.
It's Katie, babe. I'm not. That's about as all I'm going to give her.
That's all I get.
That's enough. That's enough. Katie has 17
Mother of
children.
4. Has a budding stand-up career.
I love that she has a coffee cup. By the way, where she is, it's 10-11 at night. So we know that she is drinking alcohol out of a mug.
No, so this is a secret I've learned, that when you're drinking alcohol out of a mug, you put a tea bag over the edge. So it looks like you're drinking tea.
We should sell tea bags that there's no tea. It's just it's a little weight, like a little stone, like because otherwise you don't want the tea to
no, it could be like an ice cube, like a frozen thing to keep your wine.
Yeah, I think the ice cube would be great.
Your wine.
What if it's a garnish? What if it's like a cherry and an orange in a bag, and then it's garnish in a tea bag?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We are. I mean, we're in Brookstone territory. We're making things that people are going to buy in an airport.
I think we're beyond Brookstone. We're like at we have taken it to another level.
Mm-hmm. Are we at Sky Mall? Are we? Yeah, are we at Sky
Mall? I miss Sky Mall.
Katie, for those of you who don't know, Katie did our show. She is a local Pennsylvanian, and she did our Sayre, Pennsylvania show. And she showed up killed it. Yes. Hilariously funny, but my favorite thing was she had when you see the guys who the truckers who have like a 32 ounce, a 64 ounce.
She had basically the Yeti version of a big girl.
Yeah, it's usually like a Dale Earnhardt, like a mug. And, it's got NASCAR on the side, and it's like 64 ounce soda. She had one of those where she was sipping it, and I was like, she was sipping it way too much to be water, and she's like, "Oh no, it's like a vodka soda or something. You were drinking soming."
My favorite thing was the second night when her husband wasn't there. Katie just happens to wander back out on stage, like an elderly person who had escaped from the home, didn't know where she was, just wandered back out.
That was one of those moments where you're just like, I'm not quite sure how I got here. Just wandered back.
She just had a cocktail and sat on the stage. It's the best.
She had more than a few cocktails.
Here's the. Yes, Katie, go ahead.
I don't get out much. I have 4 kids. I'm always home.
That's the beauty of this show. Nobody has to go out. My friends are like, "You want to go out?" I go, "No, let's just go live. Let's go live and virtual.
Let's just do it." That was so much fun. I had such a fun time that weekend.
Jason had such withdrawal after it. So Katie came and to be fair, you kind of had the harder job. The 3 of us were on stage the whole time. You literally walked out by yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think, had you ever done stand-up before in your life?
Never.
And she did like 15 solid minutes and crushed in front of like 300 people. It's so funny. It's so funny to do that. Pretty crazy.
I know. Someone's like,
well, your kids get a lot of that credit because they gave the material.
On a silver platter. Here you go.
We do this show every week, and every week people are like, "Well, what are you going to talk about tonight?" I go, "Oh, trust me, I had 7 days full of material. Even today. We'll talk about this later. My daughter's in a sewing class. She made a strawberry pillow.
Oh, it's a
Really like it.
strawberry. It's a strawberry.
Katie,
What did
that's
you
not the
think
right
it was?
answer. The answer is, oh yes, that's a strawberry. Oh, Katie,
I-
don't do that. Don't do that.
Why you got to disrespect Hannah that way?
No. I thought it was like a liver.
With the
kinda-
hat, it kind of looks like a Keebler elf with that like a gnome hat.
Oh,
of
I
some
can see
sort.
that. Yeah.
It's
Um,
an amazing strawberry.
Thank you. That's better.
I
So
love
you know what's funny? You were talking about the fact that she just wandered on stage, and I'm of course I'm the elder statesman of the group. I'm the older guy, and I'm kind of looking forward to that era when you can just do things and you're old, and people go, "That's just grandpa."
See, I'm gonna get it a little early. These brain lesions are,
Yeah.
a thing. So I'm gonna get that right a little earlier than most.
For people who are just tuning in, it's so funny because we go back to Jason. He's like, "Well, my kids are in this nonverbal thing. My wife had a stroke. I have brain lesions, and here's the comedy. Here's how the jokes. Here's how the jokes unfold."
Yes.
Dude, I
We
still
were-
my
We
memory.
went right into our new skee ball version of basketball.
My my memory is really bad. Like, it's not just like, he's so self-involved. I cannot remember things. And I'm getting to that point. And I remember years and years when I was like in my 20s, I remember being in I was in like a 7-Eleven in San Diego when I first moved there. And there was a guy in a robe and he had a name tag that said like Al on it. And he was just sitting at the candy eating like $100,000 bar, just eating it. And then the guy came over and he was like, "Al, you got to get out of here. Come on, man." And Al's like, "Oh, what? And he was just eating stuff at 7-Eleven. And the guy he let him eat some stuff and then he ushered him out. And I was like, I want to be that guy because all I could envision was him like leaving 7-Eleven and go, "Oof, what an acting job I just did." Like, he crushed it to have that. Like, I'm lost in the world because I was in the grocery store like an hour ago, and there was a woman. I go through the produce section. This older woman, she had to be in her 60s, acting insane, and she was sitting in the produce section and she had taken a whole bag of grapes and she was eating them. Not just like when somebody eats one grape to see how they are. She's eating them. And I go up and I go, and me. I'm the first guy to go like, I went right at her. And I was like, so I go, "How those grapes tasting?" And she goes, because I didn't know what was happening. I thought she was just messing around. I didn't realize she was full on insane in the grocery store. She's eating grapes. And then I said, how are the grapes? And she goes, "You know the band U2?" And I go, "Yeah, I know U2." And she goes, "The Edge isn't their guitarist anymore." I am. And I go, "You know me too." I was like, I said, his playing's been weak as of late. And I always thought he should have been replaced in the band. Like, I'm going along totally with this.
Of course, you
Because
have to.
I thought she was messing with me. She was not. And then eventually
Honestly,
she's like,
if you're the new part of U2, you've earned some free grapes.
that's what I say. I go, "Well, you must know all the songs, and I'm sure, honestly, I'm looking at you eating those grapes, and I can tell right now you can play guitar. I know you can." And she was like, "I can." And she goes, "We're in the Sphere, right?" She told me we were in the Sphere right then and there, because that's where they're playing in Vegas. They're in the Sphere. And she goes, "We're in the Sphere." And I go, "Oh yeah, the Sphere. It's pretty great in here. Would you excuse me?" And then I walked. I got away from her and I looked over. She just kept eating like a whole bag of grapes. I was like, "What's happening?"
Did you make sure Mulligan got home?
And Mulligan, I drove her home and she's okay.
I wonder-
Kate Mulligan was going to be here tonight, by the way, but she booked a movie and she's like, I'm memorizing lines. And so she's shooting tomorrow night and she is spending the night memorizing lines. So
Good for her. That's
yeah,
exciting.
she mentioned she got the movie.
huge props out to our buddy, Kate Mulligan. Anyway.
Can I show you guys an early Christmas present that my husband got me?
Yes,
Would you like to see?
Of course.
we do.
I was so excited. Are you ready? Yeah, I don't know if you guys are ready for this.
Hold it up. I can't see it.
Hold
Other
on.
way. And
Yeah, there we go. He has a matching shirt. Guess what his says?
Balls.
Nuts.
Oh, I was pretty close though. I was
You were
pretty
pretty
close. Oh, that's chest. Where's nuts? Oh,
That's
here
his
he has it.
They're in a different spot, Jamie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she teased it like she was gonna pull it up, right?
Yeah, it
And then
did seem like we were going to see the
And
second.
she goes, guess what he got? And then she pulled it up. It was the same shirt. I was like, well, you can't. That's not. But it said nuts.
Nuts.
I think balls might have been funnier. Jason?
I'd have to see the shirt.
It's a
I'd have to
Christmas.
see-
I am one that's very much for coordinating outfits, especially for holidays.
Yeah, right.
And so he thought that would be an appropriate Christmas attire for both of us.
Well, I don't
Why
understand the
would it not
chest.
be?
The chest, it should be something. What's individual? It can't be chest. Anybody? Narcolepsy has got a joke.
I love that.
I don't
he's
think chest- I don't
critiquing
think
in a
chest
shirt
is
that's
funny.
already there. It's a
Chestnuts.
gift.
Oh, chestnuts. I just got it.
There you are.
Did everyone else already get that? And I'm the last guy to the party? You got that, Jason? You
Yeah.
saw chestnuts?
Why would you not? She made it very clear.
I didn't. Dude, again, remember I talked about my memory? I don't
Are
I
you
don't
sure
remember how.
you don't
Eat
have
those
brain
grapes.
lesions, bud?
Dude, I could easily have brain lesions. I had a piece cut off of me today again. I have
Yeah,
like
I
8
got that
stitches in my
text.
arm.
And I was unsure what was happening.
You should see what they pulled off of me.
I
Katie,
don't-
I'm on the dermatologist diet.
Are you?
I lose weight a half a pound at a time as they cut it off of me. So
Yeah.
they cut it
like an
down.
onion. They just keep slicing.
That's exactly. I'm the onion.
Mhm.
I'm the white onion.
The white onion.
You are.
Jamie's still in the
definitely-
sphere with the crazy woman. Everyone else got it. Oh my
he
gosh,
never-
everybody else got it. I can't believe I
He
didn't.
never left the sphere. He's still there.
Chestnuts.
Are
I
you
did.
I will
also
say,
now
I
in
heard that
YouTube,
was
Jamie?
awesome.
Say again, Katie.
I
Oh,
heard
Jason?
that the U2 show was amazing in the sphere. Friends of ours went and they said it was absolutely incredible. So maybe she just had like a incredible experience and didn't want to stop.
I want
Fair.
to go very badly. I have seen U2 every single tour since 1983.
I mean, probably before.
Yeah. I saw them I saw REM open for the English Beat in like 81. Yeah, I'm a Highlander.
What
I
was your
saw
first concert?
Beethoven. I
everyone.
saw Beethoven in Munich, Germany in 1852. And he was working out new stuff. And he comes out, he opens with dum 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 dum. And we're all like, dude, rock on, mother. And he was pretty great. Beethoven rocked it. He rocked it pretty well.
Nice.
What was your actual first concert?
Blue Oyster Cult with Foghat and the Pat Travers Band.
Nice.
No, it wasn't. Oh,
It
no.
wasn't?
That was fine. It was fine. It's so funny because I'm thinking about taking my kids to a show, and each time I think about taking them, I have to be like, what's there? Because it's going to be the first question on every date she ever goes on, right? Isn't that how it works, Katie? Like, you know, when you're on a first date and the guy's like, so what's your first concert? And if you have to say like a terrible band.
Can I tell you? We took our kids last summer. Can I tell you? their
Yes,
first
please.
concert? Weird Al.
Oh, I like it.
That's a pretty good one. I'm
I
not
like
gonna lie to you. Actually, let me hear everybody in the audience. What was your first shows? And we're gonna read them out.
My
What was yours,
first,
Jason?
No doubt.
No Doubt. I saw No Doubt.
I saw No Doubt
Yeah,
open for
Montage
you
Mountain.
too. They opened for you too. I
Of
was
course.
shocked how good they were. Katie, what was your first concert?
Mine was Stone Temple Pilots,
Hmm.
Oh, I love Stone Temple Pilots. Scott
followed
Weiland.
closely by Dave Matthews Band before they were like super popular.
I like Dave Matthews a lot. Actually, my wife's favorite
It was
favorite
like
band.
the Grinch was singing Dave Matthews there.
Oh, was that what you were saying?
Katie actually just thought you were having a stroke.
I saw Weird Al at the OC Ferris's Narcolepsy. Jimmy, shut up. That's not your first Narcolepsy. That's not your first show.
performance at the Greek.
Jimmy
Right?
Page and the Black Crows? First performance at the Greek? That was your first show of all time? No, that can't be. New Kids on the Block's a good one, Shannon. Holy shit, Sean Cassidy. No way. 19D King 66. By the way, it's a very specific name. I'd love to know the details. And that was Beethoven's farewell tour. Here's what's crazy about the Beethoven show. We applauded and cheered so loudly, he couldn't hear it. So he didn't even get how much we loved his show. It was very quiet after that. Who else? Yeah. I want to see Tool at the Sphere. They're going to build a Sphere in Hollywood, by the way. The Sphere is coming. Jamie is still in the Sphere. I want to go in January, and I'm going to see you too. I don't care what happens. Bob Hope with Bear Bryant and Sister Sledge, followed by the Charlie Daniels Band. Then on stage, dodging panties with Michael Bolton. Wow, Thomas, that was...
That's
Bob
very
Hope
specific.
With Bear Bryant, Sister Sledge. Wow.
I remember Bear Bryant's first album. He performed it with Alabama, which was a weird coincidence because he coached Alabama. And he crushed some of those Alabama songs. Isn't it funny when a band takes the name of a state where you're like, hey, what should we name ourselves? I don't know. We're from Kansas. Why don't we just go with Kansas? I don't know. We're from Boston. Should we just name it Boston? Alabama? Are there any other states that are bands? I don't know. There's no Texas band. No. Okay. All right. That's as far down that. That's as far down that rabbit hole as I can go.
Should I finish my story? We really veered off that.
Yeah. Let's go back to ABA. The kids are. But by the way, it's been such a positive thing lately that we do want to talk about it more because.
As well, we haven't touched on it because my life hasn't been just one tragedy after another this week. I shouldn't have said that. Wow. That was
not tragedy, but let's say hurdles. There's been hurdles.
Few.
Yeah.
A few.
Dude, honestly, you are my North Star as when it comes to parenting. And the funny thing is people who watch this show don't really know because you and I talk so much off camera. And I
talk to you more than I talk to anybody except for my wife.
Yes, me too. I actually talk to you more than I talk to my wife. I would argue by measures of stuff. Yeah. And it's crazy because I know the full story and you and I have such a gallows sense of humor that we take. And I think that's what's really fun about the show. And even our live show, Katie, especially is that, it can be super painful, but the joke is to make it as funny as possible. So when you tell me, we always talk about, my kids are nonverbal. I was like, oh shit, I wish my kids were nonverbal, which of course I don't, but you have to have a gallows sense of humor. So the fact that they are talking more and more and they're in this crazy program. Do you want to show one of the videos? Because I wanted to cry before the show was over.
So they're working on the individual sounds because as the boys were just not making these sounds. And Anthony has progressed through 3 modules of the training already in 3 weeks. So he's basically doing a module a week, so he's now starting to do blending sounds like FL, TH, that kind of thing. Logan is still in the first round, but I have some video of Anthony doing some of the words that they're working on.
Yay. Okay, what do you say? Purple. Slippers. Slippers. Give me that P. Slippers. Good job. Good team.
We were told none of that was ever going to happen.
Ever. I remember having that. I'm going to cry, dude. I remember having that conversation with you, and you were like, "Dude, I don't. My kids are never going to talk to you. I've been told my kids. I know I'm going to cry too. Stop it.
And it's such a magical thing for here. I have 2 more that.
Pepper. Give me the P sound. Pepper. Good.
And I have one last one.
All right, we want an initial P sound. Hi. Okay, Anthony, look at Miss Melissa. Pie. 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 Yay!
I'm going to cry. Dude. Oh, dude.
And that's in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
She sounds awesome. That teacher sounds
I was
awesome,
just
by
going
the
to
way.
say that. What a positive environment that seems to be.
So all of the play, all of this training is play based. And so in order to get to do the fun things, they have to complete so many tasks. And then they get to do Hungry Hippos or Play-Doh or something. So it's all play and reward based. And my kids, before we used to have to force them to go to school. It was, and Katie, you've seen it. There were days I was dragging the children into the school. Now they run into the school. They're excited about it. Like, it's just such I didn't think I was going to get to have this. Like, I thought Jace was going to be our only speaking child. And for us at so early to see this is just such a beautiful, amazing thing that I'm just ecstatic that we're already seeing what we're seeing.
Isn't it crazy? We feel like I don't think I was this emotional about my own life, but whenever my kids feel pain or joy, I'm like an extension of their nervous system. Like I can't control it. Like it's when I see a kid just excelling like that, it blows my mind. So that's really cool. Hey, listen, our buddy Carlos Rocky popped in at the exact perfect time because he got to see all this. So let's have him join from Reno 911. Every cartoon that's ever been made on Earth. Please welcome Carlos Rocky.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hey.
That was wonderful. That was beautiful. I
Isn't
remember,
that, dude?
I heard that story when you were saying that there was an audible sound that he was making, and that's when I sent you the Bowmore 18. So now I've got to find a more expensive whiskey for you pulling at my heartstrings again.
Oh,
so congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you. They are working really hard and they're having a lot of fun. And I think the fun part of it really is the step that it was necessary for them. And also it's so intensive and, it's 40 hours a week and they're working really hard. And I'm so proud of what they're doing.
I know it's a wonderful teacher and it's play-based. I would like to introduce you to being rage-based. I would like your children to become Clippers fans and start building up and going, why did you trade for James Harden? And boom, it'll just come out. It is called rage-based Los Angeles Clipper fan therapy. So if you want
Carlos,
kids to supplement what they're doing now and join me in rage-based speech therapy, I'm telling you, it's going to work. It will elicit sounds from your body.
You missed the top of the show when we fixed basketball, which I think we did.
How'd you fix basketball?
We're adding a second basket on the floor under the original one so that short people can play as well. Because we're getting to a point with Wembanyama where eventually in 10 years, it's going to be like each team's going to be 5 guys over 7 feet. And I'm like, what are we doing, man? Why are we making this so crazy?
We're getting to a point where Space Jam will be a documentary.
Kind of, dude. I mean, these guys are jumping out of the building.
Oh, it's incredible.
They're physical freaks of nature. And yes, I still to this day, James Harden, arguably one of the greatest scorers of all time, cannot win in the playoffs.
Can't win. But it all goes back to we're really wonderfully happy seeing that your children are now verbal. It's got to be fantastic. And pulls at the heartstrings. So congratulations. I think more to come.
Thanks,
I remember going to Annie Awards and meeting the boy who was the subject of a documentary about a kid with autism who was nonverbal and then learned how to speak through watching Disney movies. And you just had it on repeat and wanted to sound like Mickey and wanted to see the genie and wanted to see all these Disney classic and it pulled him out of it. And so that was, I guess, his version of play-based because he enjoyed it so much that he
and
was
to be fair, that is amazing.
Disney.
Listen, it was super great and stuff, but all of a sudden the kid's 25 and he went through a couple job interviews and they were like, hey, it's nice to meet you. And he was like, hey, it's nice to meet you too. And
oh boy,
I'd love to have this job. Is there a chance I might be able to do it? And they were like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know how to talk anywhere else.
Oh, God, I gotta tell you this. If the actors ever go on strike with me, screw them. Bob Iger's too soft. That's his problem.
Hey, everybody!
Across the board.
That's funny.
How you been, bud?
I've
Yeah,
been
we haven't
good.
seen Carlos in a
We're
while.
doing a passion project for my father-in-law, who's the parent of my daughter. In 1959, as a 15-year-old, he wrote a movie called Mr. Big, gangster story, gangster movie. Had an 8mm camera, 8mm, couldn't afford a sound camera, never got to make the movie. He sends me the script 6 months ago. It's written on off a Remington typewriter, non-formatted.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
He froze.
Finally
He
gets to make
froze.
this movie.
There he's
And
back.
so we're shooting it. We're shooting the biopic part, and now we're shooting the other part of it. We're shooting this movie that he wrote as a 15-year-old from the Bronx in 1959. And so that's where we were today, and we'll be there for through Friday. That's my passion project right now.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
amazing, dude.
That's
Look
phenomenal.
at you.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's just he's really excited. Laura's excited. We're producing. So
Carlos, we're losing you, buddy. Your signal is weak at best.
Kids must be on the iPads.
Are your kids on the iPads, Carlos?
It's his new voice he's trying out.
Carlos, we're gonna have to pull you out, buddy. We're losing you. We lost Bunin,
hold
too.
on. Let me get off my Wi-Fi. That's the problem. I'm trying to share the Wi-Fi with too many people.
Bunin was
And
in,
so-
and then Bunin left.
Yeah, it's going bonkers
can't
with the
share
Wi-Fi.
the
I'm competing with kids. And I'm competing with children and everybody else that's on a device. So,
We all are.
but no, we forgot about our kids' gymnastic class tonight. We were both on the set of this thing, and we're like, and ironically, her gymnastics class was 100 yards from where we were tonight, and so, you know, you can't pin it on a 9-year-old and throw her under the bus. You're supposed to remember those things, kid. You know, and so that one fell on us. And
I've tried.
I pin
Yeah,
stuff
right?
on my kids all the time. I go, that's a you problem.
exactly, that's a you problem. But
That's a you problem.
that's what happens, right? When you multitask, we've got in-laws in town. We're trying to shoot a movie. We're taking care of things, and you forget. You can write everything down, but you've got to set so many alarms as a parent, right? You got a alarm for this, a string for this. We're like Uncle Billy in It's a Wonderful Life. I forgot about it. I left $4,000 in my car. You know.
Hey, since we're talking about It's a Wonderful Life, let me bring in Sheldon Leonard, who wants to tell you about angels. Hey, Sheldon, how you doing tonight?
My God.
Come on, it's one of your favorite lines from the whole movie.
I got it. If you don't got it, I'm waiting.
Hey, Carlos will knock it out, Mike.
You can't ask me to do voices in front of Carlos. I can't do a voice in front of
I'm
Carlos.
gonna set you up. I'm at the bar, and I'm Joseph, and I say, I would like to try a nice punch.
Look, mister, we serve hard drinks for people who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need no characters livening up the joint. Now, why don't you two pixies go through the door or out the window?
Yeah.
Something like that. Something like
I mean,
that.
come on. Has anybody ever come into something and known it like that? We serve hot drinks for hot guys who want to get drunk fast. That was my slogan in college.
I don't think I got the quote just right, but it's close enough. Close enough.
Actually,
Pretty
dude,
close.
Seems
It's
my
pretty
prom.
darn good. I'm not even gonna be a part of that. That's wonderful.
Katie, do you know the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
I do.
Okay,
I don't know it that well. But
Hey, look at me. What's he say? I'm making angels
He
wings.
says, "Get me. I'm making wings."
Is it making or giving out? I can't remember. But yeah, get me.
I'm giving out wings. Jingling,
And then he says, "I won't do the voice because you've already honored the voice." George Bailey goes, "That's Mr. Gary." He goes, "You know that rumhead? That rummy spent 40 years in the joint for poisoning a kid.
That's
That
right.
rummy."
That rummy.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in years, but by the way, the term rummy still so great. It's such a great
Yeah.
term, the rummy.
Yeah. we
Hee
gotta bring
haw,
it back.
Sam Wainwright here. Sam Wainwright's on the phone.
Hee-haw.
And then when the pool splits up off the gym floor, and the
Yeah.
gym floor it's Alfalfa. It's the actor who played
Alfalfa.
Alfalfa.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also love going
Frank
to the high
Capra, I
school
believe that
dance.
was
No
made,
gin.
I
No
That's
gin.
a little line for you, Mary.
1942. It won. It lost out to the Best Picture to Best Years of Our Lives.
True.
There you
It was
go.
a war film. Even then, like war films did well. Best
Look.
years of our lives. All right, listen, guys. I have something very important now. Katie, what happened?
No, I was just saying that I have to get to bed because it's late.
Oh, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Katie Bem.
All right,
We love you,
Katie.
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 Thanks for popping
Thank
by for Parental Mental
I'm
Health.
sorry I
Everybody,
chased you
check
away,
out Katie.
Katie.
No.
She's got 12 children she has to put to
12.
bed.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
13.
Thank you for
Right.
popping in, Katie.
Yeah. Thanks for
Wow.
having me.
All right, guys, listen. This is the most important thing that's happening in the news right now. Brad Pitt is finally in a very serious relationship. His first relationship since his divorce.
It's wonderful.
I'm very happy for him.
Yes.
Obviously, he's a guy who probably struggles to find love. You know,
It's too easy for him. That's why.
that's the problem. It's a problem. You know, when stuff's too easy for you, it doesn't mean anything. And when it doesn't mean anything, there's no substance to it. But he finally found someone. She is 27 years younger than him.
That's not so gross. 19 and a half right here.
You?
My wife, 19 and a half years younger than me. You know the joke in my act.
Mm.
High school prom. Carlos, you going to dance with us? Nah, I'm going to wait 2 years for my wife to be born. So that's the actual math. So there you go.
Well, I've done the same, very similar joke. My wife and I are 16 years apart, and I always say the same thing. I go, actually, we actually have a lot in common because the year she was born, I lost my virginity. And that
Nice.
is true. Absolutely verbatim.
Wow. She could be your daughter.
Mathematically, yes, she could. I'm sure her father would love. He loves when we talk like that. I always used to say, I said, when I got married, I found a new best friend. The day I got married, I found a new best friend. Turns out it's her dad because we're very similar in age and we went to a lot of the same concerts. We had a lot in common and we are very close.
Nice. I say I have a Back to the Future gap in our marriage where I go, hey, Doc, what's going on, Marty? You're not going to believe it. We went back in time. Where are we, Doc? We're in the maternity ward. Here comes your wife coming down the birth canal. You're going to marry this girl, Marty. I kind of go to the...
I can't top that joke, my brother. That's the best out of the whole age gap jokes.
I go to the dark places. You know me, Jamie.
What's a Brad Pitt? 27
years.
I mean, you're Brad Pitt, so I guess you can do whatever the want. And honestly, I would argue Brad Pitt, I would say he's had relationships that are there's a bigger gap.
Sure.
He's got to be almost 60, right? So my guess is the gap has probably been 39 years. Yeah.
Probably. Well, 27 years, you got Al Pacino going, hey, does she have a younger sister?
Well, Pacino he just had a kid. It's what, 72 or
80.
something?
Yeah.
So, what is it?
8.
How old is Pacino? 70? He's older. He's almost
Old.
he's
I thought he was
78.
83.
I thought he was in his
83.
80s. Yeah, I thought he was 80 something. Yes.
Somebody look it up.
He's 83, but she just took custody and she was like, I mean, honestly, it's the best plan she could have ever done. She's like, I'm financially secure for the rest of my life. All I had to do was have this child, and it's all, yeah.
83. Kid's name is Roman Pacino.
Roman.
Oh,
All right, Roman.
Roman.
There's something
Roman.
really going on here, Roman. Something really strange. Your mom took me from you. That's young Pacino.
It is. I love young.
He does all the Pacinos. Where's mid-level? Where's like Serpico Pacino?
Serpico is about right here, kind of cool. And believe me, I learned this from the great actor who's on Bosch.
Yes.
Titus
Welliver. I saw him do it.
Doing all 4 stages of Al Pacino with Kevin Pollak. I don't do nearly as well as Titus Welliver, but he is wonderful. He is wonderful. So I'm stealing, I'm borrowing, but
that's all right.
That age gap is pretty significant. That is, but if they like it and they dig each other and they're not planning to have kids, why not? They're happy. And I'm sure the girl's parents are like, Brad Pitt, I don't care how old he is. Stay in it.
I would go out. How many people in our audience I'd go out with Brad Pitt. If he was like, hey, Jamie, you want to go out Friday? Yeah, Brad, I do. Yeah, of course I do. Please. I saw him. I was in a room God, what? So, were you there, Mike? I don't think it was a My Boys thing. It might have been before My Boys. Some weird screening. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt were in the same room together.
Yes, no, I was with you. Yes, that's right.
There was like
It was a
what were we
documentary.
doing?
It was a documentary on the Lost Boys of Sudan stuff. Yes,
It was.
Yeah, he was a producer with Eric Gill, and
Wow.
yeah, they produced as well. Yeah,
I just remember the two of them in the room. There was a light.
that was for the 4 minutes that Jamie and I had a career, just enough to go to an event like that.
We went to an event like that. There was. Is it just me? Here's my question. Was there a light coming off of them because we know how famous they are? Or was there a light coming off of them because there are certain people? Do you think there are certain people that when you walk into a room, they just explode?
There are, and there are people that are non-celebrities like that. There's a place called Michael's Learning Place, a Center for Autism Disability, run by a guy named Ed Lynch. And I went to his 60th birthday party, and the people that were there, from rich to old to poor to black to white to Asian, along with the parents and kids of disability, to honor him on his 60th birthday. Again, it was so George Bailey-like. There was a light coming off this guy that this guy's a human being that I don't have the capacity to be. He had that kind of light where this guy is special, and he downplays it. He couldn't downplay how much light was coming off him and how much love was coming at him. I was like amazed. So there was that type of non-celebrity light, but it was bright.
Yeah,
Mike, you've been growing up in Vegas and going to crazy shows and stuff. Have you? I mean, I can remember people that I was like, I just walked into a room and I was like, oh, isn't it weird? Like, and I think you're right. It's not like an arrogance. There's it's like a Mick Jagger thing where you're like, there's just a subtle confidence that everyone's like just drawn to people. And
yes.
it's hard to encapsulate.
It goes to what Carlos was just saying too. It's not just in the world of celebrity. I mean, yes, there was, when I was on the Strip as a kid, I saw Richard Pryor sitting at a blackjack table. There might as well have been a spotlight on him. I mean, it was like a Scorsese film. It just shot right to him for me. I thought he was just the coolest human being I'd ever seen. And at the same year, I saw Sammy Davis Jr. in the casino as well. And I was like, these are just two of the coolest human beings I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's something about them. They to me, they were like superheroes walking through a normal crowd. But then in the same respect,
because you knew him, because you knew, like, I remember guys in college that weren't famous, but when they walked into a room, people gravitated towards them.
So that's what I was going to say is
went on to fame, but whatever.
Well, but then in Vegas, you go to, like, late at night, I'd go to my friend's bar. The family owned a bar called the Las Vegas Lounge. And somebody, who was known to be a little scary would walk in. But even if you didn't know them, they carried an aura around them too. Everybody carries something around them, and there are some people that are just magnetic for certain reasons. But
Weird.
I mean, there's a karaoke joint on the Strip called Dino's, which I always tell everybody is if you don't get stabbed from the car to the front door, you're gonna have a great time if you get in there. Like, it's a good joint. But when you get in there, it's reporters, it's crime reporters, it's criminals, it's judges, it's lawyers, it's policemen, it's celebrities. It's line cooks. It's everybody. It's the craziest thing. But there are certain people in there that in that joint, they're not in the entertainment industry, but they're famous. When they walk in, it's like, oh, so-and-so's here.
I have a neighbor who's a rock and roll manager for years, 30, 40 years. Dave Navarro, Motley Crue, booked David Lee Roth, been all of these rock shows. He goes to Taylor Swift with his daughter. And I said, how was the concert? He goes, other than Roger Waters' live performance, out of all the rock and roll shows I've ever seen in my life, Taylor Swift was the second best show I've ever seen. And I said,
Wow.
What is it about her? He goes, she's honest. She's got magnitude. She's down to earth, and she knows who she is. And she's talented as hell, and she delivers. He was just so impressed with this shining star that is Taylor Swift. And this is from a jaded rock and roll guy who's booked really big acts and seen really huge shows. He goes, she just has it. She connects with people.
She connects. I remember when she came out, there was some live recording of her voice, and everyone was like, it's not. Everyone gave her grief and was like, oh man, she doesn't have a great voice. and her manager was like, "Hey, man, she connects with people. You think
Yeah.
Bob Dylan had a great voice?
I was about to say
He
exactly. I was going to say. I
connects.
mean,
The
yeah.
question is, are you getting your point across, and are people like wanting to be part of
Yeah.
it? And the truth is, she is the voice of her, and that's what he called her. He said she's the voice of her generation. And at first I was like, and then I was like, no, she kind of is. She kind
But
of
we
is.
see that
Without
with like
question.
comics, right? We see that with comedians too, and those types of performers. Like there's a Joe Rogan, and I think Joe, when he performs it, he can perform it. But for me, subjectively, he doesn't. I don't connect to him like I do Bill Burr. There's a more vulnerability to Bill. We're going, I screwed up. I don't know what I was doing. There's something about certain comics.
Well, I'm a ginger from Boston. I remember one of my
Yeah.
first dates when I was dating. I don't know, Mike, you didn't go with us, but that 2 weeks. So when I met my wife, Mike and I were between seasons of My Boys,
Yeah.
and we were staying in we said, hey, you want to go to New York and stay in the Soho Grand? And we just went and
For
checked
like
into
a
the
month?
Soho Grand we stayed in for a couple of weeks. And so I got my fishbowl, and we just hung.
Yeah.
We just hung. We were both single guys. We had a ton of money, and we were just hanging at the Soho Grand. I met Kate. And Bill Burr was playing at Caroline's. And this was before he was Bill Burr. But
Right.
I knew I was like, dude, this guy is the greatest comic coming up.
Yeah.
And so I took her to Caroline's. And I remember he was doing a bit about his one-eyed dog and stuff. And I just murdered
Yeah.
the room. And yeah, I mean, there's certain guys, who just
It's people
about
who
connecting. It's about
It's
connecting.
honesty.
Right,
I was about to
it's
say,
honesty.
to me, I was just say, I've seen a lot of comics over the years that I used to love that had a shtick that played a character, but the ones that I'm going to go back to, the ones that I remember, are the people that connect with me honestly.
Mhm.
I mean,
Funny, Mike. I talked to my daughter. I talked to Hannah and Claire about that a lot because Hannah loves singing. She's in choir, and Claire's made like 50 movies. She takes her iPad and shoots little movies and stuff, and she'll show me stuff. And that's what I talk about the most. I go, listen. She goes, what do you think about it? I go, I love it, but what I think about it is irrelevant. What do you think about it? Do you love it? And if you love it, and it's saying what you want to say, then it's perfect. Don't change a thing. If nobody watches it, if everybody hates it, who cares? It's art. It's your saying, it's what you want to do. If people connect, of course, that's better. And yes, you want to connect with people, but you can't try to connect with people. You have to put your own truth forward and just hope that everyone resonates. And the truth is, if you do that and you tell what's honest from the heart, most of the time people will go, that's exactly how I feel. And so that's what I try to get across to them when they're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't guarantee commercial success like the aforementioned people, but you might have that loyal fan base and this is what we discovered with voiceover work Jason will tell you, when you do the conventions, right? You've got long lines for people, and maybe 5 or 6 people would come up to me and say, Spyro the Dragon, it was my favorite game growing up. So with that small crowd, you're a laser, you're the needle that goes right into their heart, and you're like, I'll take it.
That's
you
right.
have a connection with them.
People get emotional. I mean, I saw like the one girl was such a super fan of Spyro, and when you met her that day, she was just like so overwhelmed that she was like meeting the voice of Spyro. It was really cool to watch that in person happen.
Yeah,
a lot of times we pick on the internet and we say, oh, it's just put out white noise and it's just too much and too much. But the truth is that so many people are doing wonderful art for like 5,000 people. We know people who are having a healthy living on Patreon with 5,000, 6,000 fans, and it's very niche. And it's not like in the 70s and 80s when it was like there was only 7 famous people and they had 1 billion followers. Nowadays, if you do what you love and you find the 6,000 people on the whole planet who love what you do, it can be your career. It's a different.
It's funny. It's interesting. You just gave me it's very funny what you just said. People are doing art. They're doing it for small amounts of people, but that's what they want to do. And my generation, our age group, a little bit is sort of we just missed the boat of doing a lot of these things online. We kind of can't, like, I come to the technology a little later than I should have. And yet, I spent 2.5 decades doing long form improv 5 nights a week for free. But I sit around and I say to myself, I don't know if I want to make something short for 100 people. Well, that's what
I
I
know.
did every night.
Yeah.
know.
Something short for
100.
100 people.
Dude, I did shows for. We would go out
I
and
was
go.
gonna
The
say,
six.
right,
We'd say
exactly,
the six people in the audience, and the rest of us would go. Look, I fucking bought props and a wig. We're doing the show. I don't care if there's 4 people in this room. I'm doing that sketch in the office
Eventually,
where
we
I
did.
drink bottled water. I'm doing it.
We did eventually make a rule: if there's less in the audience than there are on stage,
We did.
we
this
can't
thing.
do the show. But I was like,
It's
no. We got 9 people tonight. That's we're overshooting. It's got to be. Let's not do that. If there's 6
People
people,
do
we
it.
got to do
They'll do a
show.
live show on the internet now, and there'll be like a couple hundred people, and they'll be like, "Oh, there's nobody watching." You're like, "No, there's a lot of people because we used to do shows for." And I drove across town. I didn't just walk into the back room, pour myself a drink, and click on go on my
No.
computer.
We wrote sketches. We went to Aardvarks and bought costumes.
Bought a
Yeah.
tuxedo at Aardvarks. I bought a tuxedo I bought a full policeman's outfit from LA, the LA cop uniform store for like $200.
That's
I wore
awesome.
for like 15 years.
They would arrest you for domestic terrorism if you tried that now.
They would
Yeah.
now. They would. So in that way, like with my kids, it's just the problem is I'm a dinosaur. So to me, I'm so antiquated in the system. But I do think if you are, here's the problem. Here's the problem with the content nowadays. It's not so much artistic based. It is just make any content and then figure out how to work the algorithm.
Yeah.
What are the proper hashtags? What keywords, SEO words should I use to get some traffic? As opposed to the old days where you like create your art and see who likes this. Now you're like, hey, I made this art I love. How do I get it in front of eyes?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. It's,
Yeah.
Not only are you right, but I just rewatched a clip of Zappa, I want to say in the late 80s, saying that the problem with the music industry is that now everything is product based. And who can we sell to? And he said in the old days, it used to just be guys with cigars screaming, let's just give this a shot. Let's see if they like this. Let's see if he said, in other words, while they didn't know anything, they actually stayed out of our way and trusted the artist to do something. And nowadays we have people that want to think they're artists and CEO. So it's interesting how it's changed, but it hasn't changed. And somebody, I think Deborah, a minute ago, I just want to acknowledge a comment I just saw. She's right. Because of this technology, people do get, people that might not be chosen by one of the big A&R people, they do get their music out there for people. And you do have a chance to make a Billboard list, even just by putting a song out, yourself.
I would
But
argue
that's-
most artists nowadays, like Post Malone,
Right.
he just put it up online on SoundCloud or wherever he did, and he blew up.
Exactly.
And people are like, this
Exactly.
dude's the real deal. And all of a sudden it turns out, yeah, he's an amazing pop musician
Right.
and stuff. So there's more ways to be seen, but it's still, you have to know the algorithm. It's all about
But
the
this
manipulation.
this whole algorithm and database things spills over into sports with analytics. It also spills over into parenting, right? There are thousands of books and techniques. And D. Bradley Baker, a voiceover actor who had kids, said, you know what? When you get your kids home, it's all improv. It's all improv.
It's all improv. I
You're
agree.
just going to go with what works for you because you could read thousands of books, database research or whatever. And you're like, my kid doesn't do any of that. And just like, oh, you know what? Take a little ketchup and I put it in my kid's head. He goes right to sleep. All right, ketchup on the forehead works for you. Good, beautiful.
So I've got a weird thing going on with the twins. Late at night at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they're pulling a full-on Step Brothers and trashing their room. They wake up and just destroy. And we come in, their beds are turned upside down. They tipped over a dresser, threw clothes everywhere. And I'm at a complete loss as to, because we wake up, we thought we had a burglar breaking in because there was just all this commotion. And we came down, they're just trashing the freaking house.
Oh my
Just
God. Frat boys in a former life.
Dude, how do you know? You got to put a camera in there. You got to put a night vision camera in there.
And talk about going huge and viral. My rage boys
Exactly.
right here.
Yeah, I think
Watch,
I
it
think
turns
I might
out it's
do
like
that.
a ghost. It's like the bed just floats
Keith
and
Moon.
flips.
The ghost of
Keith
Keith Moon.
You're all about the paranormal, Jason. So probably
Yeah.
is a ghost.
I think I accidentally summoned something into them.
I actually, before the night's over, I do want to read. I want to read to you guys the Fairy and the Unicorn, if that's possible. Is that?
I would very much
Yeah.
like that.
It's book one. Just
Book
in
one.
Wait, that's
case.
banned. I
so
think
it's a
that's
series.
banned in parts of the country.
It's banned in
Fairy.
Florida. There's definitely
Yeah.
a ban in Florida because the
Yeah.
Fairy and in Florida it's called the drug dealer and the unicorn. The drug dealer who owns a boat and the unicorn.
Didn't Harry Styles just sign?
Harry
for-
Styles it.
Yeah.
Unce upon a time.
Nice. All right.
Just empty pages. Then the next page. There was a fairy.
Yep. That looks like at the top of a castle. All right.
Fairy.
She was a question mark.
Question mark.
I mean, she's building tension. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a princess fairy.
I didn't see it coming.
Nobody saw
No.
that coming.
No.
Then she fawned a cave.
Oh,
Nice cave. It's a nice cave.
Looks like
she's
an
fond
igloo.
as a verb.
Guess what she did? What do you think she did?
Went inside the cave.
She went in. Carlos knows how cartoons work. What do you think happened in the cave, Carlos?
She encountered something.
What?
A fairy.
There's like a 40 to 70% chance she found a unicorn.
Not yet. She found a big crystal.
Oh!
Okay.
Actually, I'm
Wait.
sorry.
Did
She
you say
fawned.
She found Billy Crystal.
She
Hey, kid,
fawned.
I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to take a nap. Could you just please leave the cave? You didn't even ring. I don't want any. I'm not buying anything.
I honestly, I knew when I read this he was going to go into Billy Crystal. I was like, it was like the perfect setup of Billy Crystal.
Heck yeah.
Hey, the crystal had a unicorn in it, Billy.
What? I mean, wait a minute. Inside? Is this like a ship in the bottle thing? How is this? Is this
You had
magic?
a unicorn inside of you, Billy.
It's witchcraft. I got something inside of me. You know what happened? I said, I'll have what she's having. And it was a unicorn.
And then for some reason, she used the back page.
Yeah.
So she freed it. And
Oh,
they became friends.
without anesthesia.
That was the story of the fairy and the unicorn.
But that's just book one. So this story's going to go on.
Yeah, it's book one. So obviously,
Please bring when book two comes out.
the
please
film
bring-
rights have already been snatched up, and
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on and stuff.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
That's so funny. It's so funny. When I was reading that earlier, I was like, I only pulled it out because Carlos was here, and he's going to go into Billy Crystal.
You
pretty
got to
much.
go into Billy Crystal. It's right there. The setup is like, hello, room service. I have a premise for you.
Narcolepsy. It becomes a cop buddy series. Hey, Carlos, how does it become a cop buddy series?
Well, I think what you have is that unicorn is a metaphoric of really what's happening inside the crystal. Was it the crystal inside the unicorn or unicorn inside the crystal? Well, it's crystal inside the
Yeah.
unicorn. It's a metaphor for what the love that's in your heart. But when you get paid the money we do in Reno, we don't have that love. So the crystal dies, becomes infected, and passes like a kidney stone.
I guess.
I get
I
that
mean-
makes sense to me.
Sorry,
Honestly,
harsh world reality. Wake up, people. Reno.
well, Mike, you had a, was it a kidney stone or was it a gallbladder?
I had
Was it a
gallstone. I had
Gallstone.
I had
Gallstone.
gallstones. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it feel like Billy Crystal was in there somehow when it was in your gallbladder?
Yeah, but not like soap Billy Crystal. No.
No,
No.
not even. I would argue, more like
Like-
running
like Billy
scared. I
Crystal's
feel like running
current Clippers
scared,
fan.
Billy Crystal.
Yeah,
No, he-
running.
Like
Or Mr.
Billy
Saturday
Crystal
Night.
current-
Maybe a Mr. Saturday Night. Maybe Mr.
No,
Saturday-
Billy Crystal, courtside Clipper fan, 2023. Oi, what am I
Yeah.
doing here? What was I thinking? Oh my God. Throw mama from the train was less painful than this.
That's so funny. That's
Throw
so
me
funny.
on the red line. Throw me on the track.
So I've been finding Halloween candy all around my house.
Sure.
Yeah.
So my kids knew I was going to take the candy. Because I was telling them, I said, "Hey, have fun with the candy. I'm going to take it at some point and get rid of it or hide it or whatever." And they were like, "Yeah, don't worry about that." and all of a sudden I took it away. But now I'm finding candy all over the house, hidden, like up under couches. It's like it was already. There's like, it's like weapons everywhere. Where it's like, oh, I need a Reese's. And she's got one ready to go.
It's like your joke. We'll know when they're older where they hide your drugs.
That's true. That's where she used to hide the pacifiers there. It's so funny because we've been doing the show for an hour and I had 57 topics I was going to talk about. I didn't get to one of them. No.
You didn't get to one of them.
Actually, I got to Brad Pitt. He was number one on the topic list.
Did he change his hairstyle for this woman like he has historically for other women he's dated? He always seems to mirror their hairstyle.
Oh, is that right? I didn't notice that. I guess.
Yeah, look that up sometime. Go down that wormhole where Brad Pitt, at least in the 90s, every woman he dated, he ended up having her hairstyle, it seemed.
Yeah, Juliette Lewis.
He did have the Rachel, didn't he?
He had the Rachel for a while. He did have a Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least he's public with this one. There's some girls, like you said, there's number one rule of Brad Pitt date club. You don't talk about date club.
No.
And then at the end of the date, you realize you're actually dating Ed Norton. The whole thing falls apart.
Weird.
Very
It's
quick.
bizarre.
That's right. Exactly.
You're like, I thought I was dating Brad Pitt, and all of a sudden Ed Norton's at the table. You're like, what? It's very Tyler Durden-y. It's a very Durden-y Tyler.
I have to run, ladies and gentlemen. I have to deliver supplies to my mom's senior living place tonight, so they don't charge me too much money for the supplies they're going to substitute. So I said, no. I'll drive over there tonight. I'll drop it off. Stop. Don't give her anything.
Well, trust me.
She's doing all right. Thank you. She's hanging in there.
Good.
95.
Awesome.
95.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Almost as old as Al Pacino.
Almost. True. Well, listen, Carlos, I love you. Honestly, I reached out last second to go, hey, you want to come in and say hi? And I love that you came in. So it was very cool.
It was good to see you,
guys.
Mike.
Jason, great story, Michael. Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
See you, buddy.
Wonderful night.
Carlos Rocky. We got to wrap this thing anyway. It's 8:07, and I have to go put kids to bed. But Mike, I got to tell you honestly, and this is an honest assessment. That beard is on point.
You like that?
Yeah. It's fully groomed into a perfect. It's got a little longer at the bottom. It's kind of candy. It's pretty great.
This is years of wisdom of what to do with facial hair. I finally figured it out.
Yeah, it's starting to fall into place, man. I mean, the beard. Honestly, here's the problem: is the beard's almost taking over, and you don't exist anymore. It's all about the beard.
That is the plan, my friend.
They go, "Where's Mike?" Mike's gone.
Fade away into the beard.
You know,
Anybody seen the beard?
Mike, I'm just a few days behind you, buddy. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming in nice and tight.
Yeah. Well, this is God's gift to the bald. I get to grow this fast because I don't get to have it up here.
What if you grew it long enough and just flipped it over the back?
Considered it many times.
Yeah.
Many times.
Or take it under and over the top.
That's a thought. That's a thought. The perfect way would be to have enough to go like this and over the top. Though. You know,
ZZ Top could do that easily.
They could.
Yeah,
they could.
Yeah.
But famously, didn't he shoot himself? Did Billy Gibbons shoot himself taking his boots off one night? I think he kept a pistol in his boot. Apparently, or still does. But one night, kicking his boots off, he shot himself sometime in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So just consider that.
I did see in the news yesterday that a guy was they were shooting waterfowl in Texas, and
waterfowl.
We don't call them.
Would that be like ducks?
That's my guess.
Like birds that.
Literally, when I read it, it said waterfowl, and I said the same thing. I got, you mean ducks?
Like, are they shooting flamingos? Would that be waterfowl? That wouldn't be much
sport.
Stork? Did the guy blast? I mean, like
stork? Anyways, go ahead. All right, so they're shooting waterfowl. Continue.
I guess it's any bird that's near a water. I mean, it could be a fucking ostrich that's just sipping water at the lake, and he's like, "Well, it's waterfowl." Bang, and just shoots it. But he got his buddy shot him in the face, and
was he wearing like some sort of feather hat or something near water?
I feel like he had a down cap on, and the guy was like, "Goose," and he boom.
Exactly. I mean, I'm saying, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have worn my Daffy Duck hat while we were waterfowl hunting.
So I saw that a lot of guys, here's the problem when you go hunting with other people, and they, you're tracking something and then you boosh and you shoot the guy standing next to you. And that's what happened. He shot him in the face and he did not survive it.
Ooh.
I mean, listen, we can all feel bad about it, but I'm sure
Aaron, I was expecting.
Listen, they were. Oh no, there's no. I'm
No,
not.
this
I'm
is
not.
not. This is not.
didn't-
I was expecting.
It didn't go right.
Different ending.
A
No.
different ending. Oh no, it didn't. No.
What did he shoot him? What ammunition were they using? Were they hunting?
Well, the gun was literally
Pterodactyls?
6 inches from the other guy's face, so I don't know. It could
Well, I
have
don't know.
been.
Dick Cheney shot his friend in the face when they
That's
were.
what everybody
hunting.
started talking about. Dick Cheney. Everyone's like,
And not only did his friend live, Dick Cheney got away with it somehow. The rest of everybody else would go to jail for a gun charge.
And to be honest, I think in that case, it was not Dick Cheney's fault. That guy put his face in front of the gun. Is what. That's what Cheney says. Is like
that's exactly
my
it.
fault.
No.
I was firing, and that guy hurled himself in front of in front of the
Cheney.
As
They had
you often do when hunting, is just hurl yourself in front of somebody else's gun.
Cheney had intelligence that there was a quail in that general direction, and he just fired his weapon. The intelligence was good, guys. Talk to the Senate; they voted for it.
And to be fair, that animal had weapons of mass destruction in its in its nest, and there was a lot of stuff happening in the bunker.
Waterfowl. Waterfowl is my favorite new term of the day. We're shooting waterfowl.
I mean, it's always, listen, it's horrible and it's sad, but also,
hey, look, but that's the time of the season. Next year they're going to shoot land fur.
You had a gun. You're hunting something that doesn't know it's being hunted, and B, it's not armed, and C, doesn't even have a finger to. If it could arm itself, couldn't fire back, and yet you lost the battle.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you about humans and how we're not going to survive?
So I looked up what constitutes waterfowl.
Yeah.
Ducks, geese, American coots, grebes, loons, and both trumpeter and tundra swans.
Listen, Loon Mountain was a place in New Hampshire, so I know the loon. Trust me, I know the loon. And you don't want to mess with loon. They'll kill you. Loon will kill you. They'll all gang up. They'll kill you.
Is that where the term "he's a real loon" comes from?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Now, I did go to school in Virginia as a child, around the corner from Witch Duck Road, which ended near a lake. Where in the 17 and 1800s, they would, if they thought you were a witch, they'd put you in that pond. And, if you floated, you were a witch. And if you sunk, I guess you weren't.
What else floats? Small rocks, pebbles. No. What else floats? Piece of wood. And what burns?
Wood. Quick side note, Pembroke Meadows Elementary, we were next to a very old church that had a graveyard from the 1700s. And for almost every year that I went to school there, so that would be up to 6th grade, we got 1 or 2 days off because it seemed like every year there was a grave robbery. And that grave was right next to the baseball field, right next to the school. And so they would always rob these old pirate graves. Every year we would get a day off of school because of grave robberies.
That's fantastic.
That's pretty great. It's pretty
On that note, I tip my imaginary cap.
I always love when Mike stops by.
Listen, I love Mike stopping by. And listen, it's 8:15. We got to wrap this thing anyway. But all I'm saying is you got up at 4 a.m. You got all this crap on. You packed all your stuff up. You drove out. You walked through marshland to get to a little blind so you could just blast a bird. Then how do you even eat it? You got to send a dog out to bring it back. It's full of buckshot. You've got to get all the feathers off it. There's not that much meat on it. Dude, I just went to the grocery store. I bought a delicious rotisserie chicken for $9. And it was huge and delicious and full. I mean, let me ask you, are you working too hard to get the bird, or do you just love shooting things?
Bingo.
Okay, that's and on that, I'm sorry, man.
You know
but
how I like to relax?
Yeah.
I like to get into a really small marshy area, just
Yep.
away from society.
Yep.
You know what I
Me too.
mean? Just to,
Me too.
I like to bring a little snack. You know what I mean? I bring a book. I bring all the right stuff just to relax. It's my special place. And then just when I finally have calmed down, I have the focus to blow the fucking head off of a little bird. And boy, you know, that's when I say to myself, it's all worth it, guys. It's all worth it.
You're also shooting a bird that's like 100 yards away over a lake. I mean, it's really the whole thing's very confusing to me.
No, I got a dog that'll go get it though. Why don't you teach the dog to go get a pizza?
Oh, I would love that.
Oh, I mean, if you told me I'd take my gun and shoot a pizza and the pizza would just fall and I could eat it, yeah, I'll shoot a pizza.
I get it. Absolutely. Sure. Until then,
listen,
no. Train your dog
it's
to go
horrible.
get a
It's
pizza.
sad. It's sad. It's sad. I get it, but I'm always like, I'm sorry. I root for animals. I root for the animals, I guess.
I root for the animal. You know why I root for the animal? Of all the many reasons that have been discussed, the biggest reason is they don't know they're part of the game, and that's
what
not
I
fair.
said. If you went to the deer and you could communicate with it and say, "Listen, man, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to run," and then I'm going to
like
start
that movie
shooting.
Red State, then.
Yeah. Oh, is that?
Yeah.
I never saw the movie. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's the most dangerous game of like, it's the most dangerous game.
I mean, imagine if you're walking down the street and some dude just like dunks on you, which is at a hoop that you didn't know was there, and then all of a sudden you're responsible for the loss.
Dude, you know what it reminds me of? The night I was walking Max and the owl, for those of you who don't know, I don't know if I told this, but the owl tried to take my dog, a 50-pound puggle, and the owl's wings swiped my ear as he landed on the back of my dog in front of my house. And all I thought was like, oh my God, the pterodactyls are how scary. All I thought about was rabbits sitting there all day long. I was like, why is that rabbit so nervous? And now I know, because he's like waiting for a hawk to come down and eat him.
Yeah. You think they'd be bald. You think they would be so nervous that they're going to be snatched away and eaten, that they would be bald. But no, they get all that fur. Look at me.
Wouldn't it be terrible if you had to live your whole life just like constantly on alert of like, shit, is today the day I get eaten? I don't want to get eaten today. Is today the day I get eaten?
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, you've been here. That's the life I live here. We don't know what's going to happen.
It does sound actually like Jason is living in fear of getting trampled on by furniture in the middle of the night. I mean, it sounds like those kids are just going to tear everything down at some point in time.
They're like velociraptors, Mike. That they hunt in a pack. And
yeah. Oh,
one stands in front of me and the other two come from the side.
If they ever see this show, let them know I'm not talking trash. I have respect for their abilities. I'm just pointing out that they're dangerous.
I'll try to vet you in with them.
Oh, they're dangerous.
I appreciate that.
All right, listen. It's 8:20. We gotta go.
No, we might as well do another 2 hours. Come on.
Honestly, if I could go make another drink, I would do it in a heartbeat, because I have like 20 things I was going to talk about, but I didn't get to any of them.
Just give me one of the topics that we didn't get to. Just say one of them. Just say one. Don't pick. Just say. I feel like I'm parenting now.
Kind of.
Today,
just pick one. Well, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. We never got to Thanksgiving. I was going to talk about the high school bullies. I was going to talk about the two politicians, the GOP senator and the Teamster boss, who were like, did you see them pick a fight and Bernie Sanders broke it up? Yeah. Did you watch that? And the guy's like, I'll kick your ass right now. And Bernie Sanders like, oh, you got to stop what you're doing.
He said, you're a U.S. senator. Act like one.
Yeah, what are you doing? But this is where we are in the world. People are like, there's no like, nobody compromises. Nobody's like, everyone's like, this is my point of view, and I will fight to the death for you to be part of it. And it's like, nobody bends. And these two dudes, you're like, you're a fucking U.S. senator. What are you doing? And they
honestly, I love that the Teamster called his bluff right away. Like, really, we're gonna fight in here? Yeah, let's go. Get up, go. I was happy the Teamster called his
Teamster
bluff
didn't
right
even
away.
flinch. You see that, dude?
No.
He seemed... Honestly, I don't know who I liked better because the Senator looked in shape. I thought he'd... Honestly...
He's a former MMA fighter.
The Senator?
Yeah.
He looked tough.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is.
Dude, honestly, would you rather watch that as a pay-per-view fight or would you rather watch an MMA? Would you rather watch a Senator fight a Teamster boss or would you rather watch an MMA fight?
I mean,
Neither.
Oh, I'd watch the Senator fighting a heartbeat.
Do it now, but like, I don't know that it's a long-term season thing, but I would watch
one fight to the death.
May I remind you
death.
Historically that letting senators fight led us to a very big war in this country one time after a very famous caning. So, maybe not letting the politicians fight if it's going to cost the rest of us our lives,
there were
is a good idea.
Deals then, Mike.
Well, dude, the fact that Alexander Hamilton, who's on our money, died in a duel should tell you something about the origins of this country. You're like,
also, due respect, I'm sure that he had many more accomplishments than the person he lost to in the duel. But if you're the guy that lost, how does he not? I mean, the guy that won should be on the money.
I never really thought about that. Well, shouldn't that guy be like, hey, I'm confused. I won the duel. Why is that guy on the 20?
Is he great enough to be on a 20? Well, then I should be
Hamilton?
On a $30 bill.
Jackson's
I'm
on the
better.
20. What's Hamilton on?
Hamilton's on, was he on a 100?
Say, no, that's Grant, isn't it?
You're asking a bunch of broke actors. I thought Grant was on a 50. You're asking a bunch of broke actors who's on money.
It is on the 50, which, by the way,
Grant's
I
on
tried
the
to
50.
pay. God, we did a UC bet on the Yankees Red Sox, and I think I tried to give you a 50, and you're like, oh, no, those are bad luck. I'm not taking a 50.
Luck. That's why I know Grant's on them. They're bad luck. 50s are bad luck.
Grant's a bad luck.
The reason I think
Jackson's on the 20. Hamilton's on the...
Washington's on 1. Thomas and
Lincoln's
Jefferson
on a 5.
2.
What's Hamilton on? 100?
Hamilton, they're featured on the 10 and 100.
Yeah, the 100. Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense.
No,
100.
It is kind of funny, dude.
Hamilton's on the 100. Franklin is on the Hamilton is on the 10. Franklin is on the 100.
Sorry.
Oh, that's it. That makes more sense. Yeah. Shows how little I know about money. But it was funny to see two of our politicians in a Senate hearing. The dude was like, "I'm going to kick your ass," and he gets up. And Bernie Sanders was like, "What do you got to sit down? Did you see this, Jason? These guys were getting into a fight."
I only heard about it from you.
Oh, it's gold. It's absolute gold. But it shows you where we are as a world. As like
in high school, I would always catch a clip of some other country's parliament getting up and having a fist fight, and I would laugh at how they just don't have theirs together. And now we are finally where everybody else is looking at us and saying, like, look at these crazies on TV. They're getting up and fighting. I mean, what's his name claimed that McCarthy elbowed him in the kidney today. Did you see that?
And they're on the same side. They're on the same
and then
team.
yelled at each other in the hallway. And then, I don't know, somebody else from one side called somebody from the other side a Smurf at one point in time as well on the floor today. He looked like a Smurf sitting over there. That's what he said.
It's pretty crazy.
But guys, let's keep in mind, they're more cultured than you think. Lauren Boebert enjoys the theater. Okay, all right, let's call it
Beetlejuice. All right, listen, we got to wrap this thing. Hey, we have actually a special, first of all, huge thanks to Carlos Alazraki, Katie Bam, and Michael Bunin for popping in today. We have a very special Thursday night show we're going to add on this week. We're doing some extra stuff because it's the holidays. And Eric Schwartz, Eazy-E, has a Netflix special coming out next week, and he is our guest this Thursday night. So Justin Ruppel will be back with Eric Schwartz, and we'll do a crazy show. So come by Thursday, all of you, Narcolepsy and the gang, 7 p.m. Pacific time. What else, Jason? What else we got to say?
You can catch new episodes of the podcast on audio on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever else you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every Monday and Thursday.
That's it. Mike Bunin, honestly, I know it was a big challenge for you to come into the show tonight because I know how
I love when Mike drops.
I know,
by.
me
It's my
too.
favorite.
It's like when I talk
I
to him
will
every
be back.
day.
I will. Thank you. I will be back.
Listen, it's just about some chit chat, buddy. Chit chat and drinks. So
I come in. He asked me to do a voice in front of Carlos right away. That's just
no, it wasn't a voice. It was I knew you knew that bit, and it was Carlos was setting it up. I was like, oh, here comes Bunin with Sheldon Leonard. Hey,
It's like asking me to brush my hair in front of Palomalu. I mean, what do you? I mean, come on, seriously.
all right, we're gonna let that
And
joke.
good night.
We're gonna let that joke end it. All right, we'll love you all. Take care. We'll see you next time here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.